Hey, hey, hey,
We're
hey,
live.
we are, and we have a special guest. We have Zeus,
Hold
Zeus,
on.
ruler of the universe in the house. Look at Zeus. He likes holding him up like Simba. Aw, he's getting bigger.
He is.
He's getting so
James
bigger.
is not feeling well, and
Oh,
so they're all on the bed. Rocky's on the bed with him. He's home today. He's got a little conjunctivitis and stuff like that. So he's
aw.
um he's home, and the Poochies are underneath the covers with him, keeping brother, safe and sound and all of that stuff like that. So, Dr. Irene, how are you today?
I'm
What's
awesome.
going on?
How are you?
I am doing well. I am doing well. It's Friday here, and I'm very happy because we are going to Boston this weekend,
Hmm.
and we were supposed to go yesterday, but we are not going to Boston until tomorrow morning. So I don't have to stay in a hotel as I have been over the last, several weeks. Where was I? I think I was in Pittsburgh. Then we were in Minnesota. Then we were in Hartford. We're going to Boston. Then I'm in Arizona. Then we come back. We're back in Minnesota again.
There you go. You are I was going to say the traveling Wilburys, the Harlem Globetrotters. Who else does a lot of traveling?
A lot of people.
A lot
Me.
of people, a lot
Me.
of
I'm
people.
doing a lot of traveling for sure.
Dads with hockey sons, right? Or is it hockey dads with sons?
It doesn't make any difference at that point because really it's just one of those situations where geez, we're just traveling all over the world, which is okay. Or at least the United States, the world is beginning to open up, so we're happy, you know. But I could tell you eating food when you're away is not a happy situation because sometimes you find a good place, sometimes you don't find a good place. We found a good place in Minnesota, or as they say out there, Minnesota. So we were
That's
out
because
to
you're
lunch.
Canadian there, right?
Yeah, we were out to lunch, and the waiter said, "You guys are not from around here, are you?" And I said, "No, we're not from Minnesota." And he started laughing. He goes, "That was pretty good." I said, "Forget about it." And he said, "Oh," he says, "You're from New York." I said, "Close, New Jersey." So there you go. So, Dr. Irene, we're going to talk about self sabotage. Is it derailing your weight loss attempts? Very important because weight loss, or what we want to call, I don't know if we can use the word adipose tissue loss. You want that. It's very important because it leads to many different types of conditions if you don't have a proper percentage in your body. So that's extremely important. It can lead to type 2 diabetes. It can lead to autoimmune conditions, hypertension, being overweight, metabolic stuff like cardiovascular and metabolic syndrome, all of that stuff that's
There.
just so prevalent. So let's talk about self sabotage derailing your weight loss. Tell me what's going on.
Well, and you, thank you for that brilliant lead in.
At times I am, and at times I'm not. It depends.
Oh, you're always brilliant. You're always
I
brilliant.
had my V8 this morning, so I really didn't, but that was a commercial back in the
I know,
day.
it's kind of like Popeye and spinach, right? So brilliant lead in talking about traveling and going different places and then linking that in with self-sabotage, right? It's really challenging, as you said, when you travel to find food that is healthy and tasty. And And so it's easy to fall into that, "Ooh, it smells so good," right? You know,
Hmm.
I was a hockey mom. I was a hockey mom, and I was the trainer on the bench as well, and I get it. I
So you were
understand.
crazy being a hockey parent too, right?
And so I totally understand that, you know, you're starving because the kids are starving, and all that's there at the hockey arena is like hot dogs, hamburgers, or French fries,
Chicken
right? And
fingers too.
chicken fingers. Okay, yeah. So you know that's obviously an upscale arena to have chicken fingers. Just saying, you know, or maybe those frozen, you know, little mini pizzas or something like that.
I have to interject here because somebody I know got sick and they had shrimp scampi at the arena. And I looked at the person and I said, dude, you're at the arena, you're there for 5, 6 hours, there's no place to go. Get a little chicken, you know, there's got to be a salad. You can get a water or a seltzer water. I don't know if I would get shrimp scampi at any arena.
You never know. It might be like one of those really like upscale establishments that have shrimp scampi.
I'm still not getting shrimp scampi at the arena.
I would be more concerned about food poisoning. And
Wow.
I,
Anywho.
so back to what we were talking about, you know, and I faced the same thing. Like last winter, I spent as you know, spent the winter traveling. Spent 3 months in Crete. Spent 3 months in Croatia. Crete was lovely because, you know, all year round they grow all their own vegetables and everything. So it was amazing to find food. However, when then I get to Croatia, and for all my Croatian friends, I love you dearly. And at the same time, it's like basically based with my food sensitivities. But the only thing that I could eat was chicken and cured pork. Like they're really,
Mm-hmm.
really big on their cured pork, which I love, you know, in a charcuterie platter, like once in a while, like it's a treat, you know, Dr. Dan,
Mm-hmm.
because you would like shake your finger at me otherwise. But to have it like how many times a week, or, you know, it's like I couldn't, you know, and I felt like crap. However, it's like, you know, when you're looking at things, so self-sabotage can take many different shapes and forms, and you know, things that trigger you into it. It might be pure starvation, like if you're in a hockey arena and you have to eat now, or traveling. Or it could also be that you've made that commitment, like, you know, so many of our clients, Dr. Dan, and you know, like I'm going to lose that weight once and for all. It's like this is the time, this is it. And then boom, it's
Right.
like you get going, and you're like all gung ho, and then quickly you fall into what I call the valley of despair, or the valley of lost
Correct.
souls, right? Which is where you go, ooh, this is like harder than I thought it was. So there are many different layers to the self-sabotage, and one of them that most people don't know about is that you're not bad, stupid, or lazy, or lacking willpower if you can't push yourself away from the table, as they always like to say. just
Right.
just easy, just push yourself away from the table. And then you have the getting called over again.
What's that? I was getting a call from James and I said I can't take it. So, you know,
You called me.
Dr. Irene, are you there? Did you freeze?
You called me.
Dr. Irene.
Are we back?
We're back. I think that we lost you there for a second or two.
Okay, because you were getting a call, and you know, and then I got dropped as well. I was like, wow, that's interesting.
All right, we're
All right,
back. All right. So we're
so
talking about self-sabotage derailing your weight loss.
attempts, yes. So key is, you know, it's not your fault. You're not bad, stupid, or lazy, or lacking willpower. Very first and foremost, every time you consciously make a decision that I'm going to make this change. Whether it's weight loss or something else in your life,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's a conscious decision. Your unconscious is the one that is controlling the show, running the show 99% of the time,
Mm-hmm.
right? And your unconscious mind likes to keep everything the same. Your heart beating the same, your breathing, and we like it that way, right? We want your unconscious mind and brain to take care of everything. However, when you make a change, your unconscious mind sends off like these, like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, 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 wow. It's like danger, danger, Will Robinson, right? And it's going,
What
oh my
does it
God,
do? What does it do?
like, wow, 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 like, like it's like a siren. Come on, Dr. Dan, don't you like, anyway? So when your unconscious mind, sets off those alarms, it's like going, oh my goodness, there's change. That could be dangerous. You could die. You could get hurt. Right? This is what it thinks of. It's like, if you suddenly stop breathing. And so it's like going, okay, I know that unconscious mind has to stop thinking, consciously focusing, and then I'm in charge and I'm going to keep you alive. And so I'm going to derail you. So this is number one. And it happens. And those self-sabotage patterns could show up as in, ooh, I have pain in my knee, so I can't work out. Or, you might feel like a sloth, like a couch potato going, I know I should go and exercise. I'll just watch one more
Mm-hmm.
episode. Or I'll just have like one cookie. You deserve it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've had a hard day. But there's so many ways that self-sabotage can show up. So
And as you're
just know.
talking, I'm taking notes because I think there's important points here when you're talking about the self-sabotage, because
Yeah.
I find that patients, they always not always, but a lot of times they self-sabotage. They put these obstacles in front. So the first thing I want to say is, once you lose that weight, on the other side, the energy, the feeling better, the whole, outlook on life, the whole mindset is so different. It's so positive. You make better decisions. You are able to get through your day. You don't need caffeine. You don't need to
Mhm.
have that whatever, energy drinky, stimulant-y type of a thing. You have this natural thing that's going on, and it's just so much more healthy for you. And it reminds me of Hartford, watching one individual. And of course, I mean, I'm not going to mention anybody's names, their friends and stuff like that, and asking me questions about functional medicine and so forth and so on, and 5 different medications and macaroni, sausage, meatballs, which I used to eat all the time, but this is a regular staple. In talking to individuals, taking away something like that could be very painful for some people. Then the next day at breakfast after a game, 6 pancakes, whipped cream, syrup, and a bunch of fruit. The fruit was put to the side, which was, but the choices that you make when you're doing this and self-sabotaging you, I'll start tomorrow. I'll start Monday. What is it? Magical on Monday? Monday is magical. The time to start is right now, today, when you get up in the morning. So I got up this morning, I did what I had to do, got James, whatever for the day because he's home, and then did what I had to do with with the um, the dogs and so forth. And I had just a little bit of a protein shake. Then I was out the door and I went to the gym and I hit some personal bests today. So I'm
Oh,
feeling good right now, and I'm good. So it's a better choice than being on the other side. Let's wait till Monday because that's a self sabotage, right?
it is.
Right.
It's
I'll
like,
start at lunch.
I don't have time. So yeah, procrastination.
Mhm.
Mañana, right? Like that is definitely one. And I'm going to tweak what you said a little bit, Dr. Dan. I guarantee everyone self-sabotages in some form.
We all
And
do.
the reason why I say that is because it's an a natural and necessary part of what's called the cycle of development.
Mm-hmm.
And so in I, I have fun terms for it. So the cycle of development is where you start off in the honeymoon phase, right? And this applies to anything. I like to talk about like anybody who's learned how to drive a car, right? I remember when I was 16, I know you were like 8, but it's like when I first got my driver's license, right? And my birthday was later in the year, right? So
Mm-hmm.
everybody was getting their beginner driver's license before me. And so I was just like, I couldn't wait to get behind that wheel and everything it signified to me, right? It wasn't just a driver's license, it was freedom,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so the instant I got that piece of paper that said I could get behind the wheel, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, and I have freedom playing in my head, and then bam, the reality hits, right? It's like, oh my God, I don't know what I don't know. It's like, I'm trying to figure out, the foot goes here, this goes here. I'm supposed to do this. My mom's yelling at me in the back seat, the side seat, saying, like all this, and I just like going, this is much harder than I thought it would be, right? But guess what? I wanted it so badly I could taste it.
Sure.
So I kept pushing forward and pushing forward and pushing forward until eventually, and that part where you get the smackdown is the you're going, oh my God, this
Mm-hmm.
isn't what I thought it was. If it was
Right.
a relationship,
Sure.
it'd be, oh my goodness, you're not who I thought you were.
Yeah.
I'm not sure this is what I want. Right?
Right.
That's the valley of despair.
Right.
And then
And,
you climb out the other side and you get to that, you make the shift, right? You're
mm-hmm.
climbing out the other side to the point where then it becomes second nature to you. You're on
Mm-hmm.
autopilot, and all of a sudden you can drive down the road, you can merge with traffic, you could be talking with somebody, you could be playing with the dial,
Mm-hmm.
all those, drinking coffee, all those things you're not supposed to do legally now, talking on the phone. The point is that it's second nature to you now, so you're able to do it. So
Right.
that is the cycle of development. And the key is that valley of despair doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have
No.
to be. In other words, there are things that we can do that we teach our clients how to minimize the smackdown.
Right.
So that,
Listen.
yes,
It really, this is an important point because you're going to have people around you that are going to derail you. And that's a form of self-sabotage, right? So I have one individual that is in hockey and they bring their lunch for the weekend. They'll go out at night because we're all going out, but breakfast and lunch and snacks are brought from home. My wife makes it, another person, the husband makes it. And so these are decisions that you need to make, and it comes from your past experiences in life. And I can't say the word, but this is nonsense. Another word, this is nonsense. And you have your friends around you or your people around you, and you decide to just go with the flow. It's like you're 50 years old and you have peer pressure and your cholesterol is 5,000. Well, not really 5,000, but let's say 500, and so
high,
you
in other words.
it was high. So you can lead from the front in your own life because you don't know who you're going to take with you. You're not self-sabotaging. You could show them that they don't need to self-sabotage either. And you can move it forward, because right now, what was the stat, Dr. Irene? We were discussing it not too long ago with metabolic dysregulation coming out of the last 2 years. It's just like growing exponentially, when it comes to this. You're self-sabotaging yourself. You're going
Yes.
into the aisles and you're buying food you shouldn't be buying. I was on a podcast and I said, either eat real food, there's either real food or there's no food, and everybody was laughing at me. I let them go. I let them go. I let them go. So I said, a sugary soda is real food. I said, the cakes and the candies and the cookies, that's real food. Oh, I work with athletes. You work with athletes that are 18 years old. When I was 18 years old, no matter what I put into my body, I was still an athlete, But when I realized there were better choices, I became an even better athlete. So it's important to know. You don't
Absolutely.
know what you don't know, Dr. Irene.
Don't know what you don't know. That is so right, Dr. Dan. And there's another layer to the self-sabotage that is so very, very important. And that is that stress makes you sabotage, because if you haven't developed what we call resiliency in your brain, in other words, that ability to adapt and
Mm-hmm.
flex and flow no matter what curveballs are being thrown at you, then your brain literally lights up in different areas of your brain,
You
and
used an American analogy, a curveball.
a curveball. There you go. It's like the one sport Canadians didn't invent. Back to that though. The well, Canadians invented basketball. They invented lacrosse. They invented hockey.
Dr. Naismith, yes, he did in fact,
So,
invent.
so the
All
point is
right, so you
that
guys are all right. We
okay.
let you we let you in. We let you into the
Let me
okay.
finish.
Let's go.
Let me finish. Let me finish. All right. So your brain literally, when you are under stress, will trigger those sabotage patterns, those risky patterns, because you are drawn to do whatever feels good in the moment. Your thinking brain is totally offline, so this isn't a time where you're going. It's like you can't argue with a drunk, right? It's like you have to understand that your thinking brain, your logic, your good decision making is out the window. It's not your fault. And so you're going to reach for the food that makes you feel good. You're going to reach for the alcohol, the drugs that make you feel good. Retail therapy even, or how about gambling or other, you know, behavioral patterns and even addictions that make you feel good in the moment that aren't good for you, right? So that is why in our programs, and especially in our sustainable weight loss boot camp that we are starting in October, we guide you step by step by step, inch by inch, everything's a cinch, through that valley of despair. We guide you and help you eliminate those self-sabotage patterns, the biggest, baddest buggers out there that get you time and time again,
Mm-hmm.
right? We teach you and show you how to eliminate all of those patterns, so that, remember I said that valley of despair doesn't have to be hard.
No, it doesn't have to be hard, and we will be there with you every step of the way. We're going to be your accountant. We're going to be your accountability partner, using our experience that we've been doing this forever. So it's really a great thing to do. You have to apply. You need to apply, and here is the link. Okay, DrIrene.life/strategy call. You'll speak to one of us, and we'll see if you're a good fit to come on in and to see what it is we can do to help you out.
Exactly. And I want to just say that we haven't even opened this up to the public yet. Just this is just to
Nope.
our community. So in your part of our community, if you're watching this right here, right now. So we haven't even opened this up to the
Yeah.
public. So, and we're only taking 30 people in the sustainable weight loss boot camp that's starting in October. So if you want to get a jump start, a head start on the waiting list, and make sure that you have a foot in the door, even if you're not sure, book that strategy call, because we take them first come first served, and then it's like, we'll let you know right then and there if we feel that you are a fit for the program or not, because we only want people in this program who we know will benefit, we're sure will benefit, and that who are committed. right? That you have a very strong why as to why you want this, and that you are committed to taking action, right? And you need to make that decision, and then once you commit, we and our faculty and our coaching staff will be there every
We
step
step out of the way.
with you, which is how we make another way of making sure that it's not hard for you. It doesn't
Right.
have to be hard.
So when you do hit that self-sabotage, or you do hit that valley of despair, if you have that moment in time where you're like, it's 10 o'clock at night, I think that we're watching a movie. There's 5 bags of popcorn in the cupboard or pantry, depending upon where you are. You're going to go there. I'm going to tell you to take it out, throw it out, get rid of it so it's not there. So we'll have other tips for success and strategies to help you out. So that's incredible. Dr.
Right.
Irene,
Dr. Dan and Zeus when he was here.
when he was here, right now, the song from Van Halen, right? We'll have that playing in the background right now. Anyway,
Hey,
DrIrene.life/strategy call.
yep.
Get in
Be
there,
there.
apply. All right. Apply, see what it's all about. Talk to us, and we'll be more than happy to discuss to see if you are a fit for this program. So, Dr. Irene, it's
Dr.
been
Dan.
wonderful seeing you again.
Awesome seeing you, and everyone, we'll see you in the boot camp.
I see you in the boot camp. Have a great weekend. I'll wave to you from Boston this week at the hockey tournament. Everybody, have a great rest of your day.
Take care.